Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Monday night, 8 p.m. can mean only one thing. It is the Online Darts Live Lounge for episode 260. Myself, Phil Bars, and Dan Simpson are here for the whole entire evening to talk you through what has been an interesting week in the world of darts. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, all good, mate. I thought we were a 3 tonight. I don't know why.
No, he's got something on.
Was he? Oh, fair enough.
His hair transplant hasn't worked properly yet.
On a Monday, that's disgraceful. Yeah, all good, mate. I tell you, I'm busy. I'm sick of being busy. We were away all weekend, and I've got a lot of driving to do this week. I'm backwards and forwards across the country. Yeah, it's a busy old time at the minute. But all is well. I tell you what, it's pissing down. The summer's gone. Like, it's cold. I had to put. I went out today. I took Billy to Thai boxing the Saturday, and I had to put a hoodie on. I had to actually put. I had to put a jumper on to go out in the north.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna send you a picture.
Is it sunny there? We'll have to come.
I wish it was bloody raining.
Oh, is it? Oh, well, it's honestly, it's blazing up here. Like it's pouring down. What's going on? Wow, look at that. Isn't it pretty?
Yeah, it is. It is swelteringly hot down in the south of.
We've got none of that. How's things your end? How's everything down there? Busy?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Like we say, it's been busy. Plenty going on. Davies will be with us around 9:30 tonight. A little bit of a later check-in for our guest tonight because he's actually playing this evening. So Dave will be joining us around 9:30-ish. Conor the Barry interview will be out tomorrow. I know people go, where is it? When an interview is an hour long, it takes a lot to get it ready in terms of editing, export, upload, and so on. It's not a quick process. So it will be out tomorrow, but the chat room is rammed already. Let's go through. Dale is in. Kay, how are we doing? Owen Anthony, good to have you in, my friend. How is the great state of Texas via the greatest city in the world? Jonesy is in. Gordo, how we doing? Lindsay, Bobsy, Wayne, how we doing? Shelty, Matthew, Nick is in. 80, how we doing? Yeah, you're just down the road, so you know what the weather's like down here. Whew. Not ginger friendly. Tops is in. Michael, how we doing? It is Ram. Great Showman is in. Connor, Michael, it is Ram. Teresa is in as well. It's nice and busy. It's good. The chat room is buzzing as always, but we did have plenty of action going on over the weekend.
It's actually been a real busy time for darts, hasn't it?
Yeah, I remember when August was the dead and quiet month. Not anymore. That is for sure. It is super, super busy. Let's go to New Zealand. First of all, the penultimate World Series event in the 2026 World Series calendar. And first of all, congratulations to the ferret, Johnny Clayton, back winning on TV, which is great for him. I called him to win in the preview as well, which was nice. But before we come on to Johnny, overall, did the event disappoint? And I'm not talking about just on the bottom. I'm talking about the whole thing. Did it disappoint slightly?
I thought that the performance levels and entertainment delivered wasn't great. I thought we didn't get great performances, and I thought some of the it just lacked a bit of excitement, I think, and interest. Obviously, there are a few shocks, a few people that will be disappointed. I think Ross Smith will be disappointed. Credit to Adam Leake on getting up that first round victory, but Ross Smith will have been disappointed because Ross Smith isn't a player who is normally the first one they turn to when they're booking these World Series events. You know, when they sit down and they look at who's going where, like they start with the Premier League and then they come outside the Premier League and there's a couple of also rans, and Ross Smith isn't normally the first person they pick the phone up to. So I think he will have wanted to justify the pick. And don't forget, you know, there's money on the line here as well, but he will have wanted to show the selectors what he can do. And I think he will be disappointed with that. I think we saw all right first round performances. I think some of the locals did underwhelm a little bit. We know that Johnny Tata's got a better game in him than that. Caden Milne was an absolute mile away, and James Wade got a free hit. Mark Kleber as well. You know, there was some underperformances. Raymond Smith, the big story of the opening round, of course. We know Raymond's got a game there, and then he turned bunting over, and I think he had a very winnable game against Adam Leake then in that second round. But he played well. He turned up, averaged 96. Raymond Smith did really well, held his own, didn't look out of place. But yeah, it lacked a little bit. Really, I think.
Yeah, and I look at it, and
it lacked a bit in the crowd. I thought, and I don't know whether, and sometimes it's in the eye of the beholder a little bit sometimes. So perhaps I was influenced by the fact that I was watching it first thing in the morning with a little bit of a hangover and a pot of coffee. Now, maybe that influenced how I felt that it went over. So I'm not used to watching the darts with a coffee at that time of day. So perhaps the atmosphere was lost a little bit on me, but I didn't think it looked as bouncing and as vibrant as we see in some of the other events.
Again, by the way, this happens in all events that don't sell particularly well. So this isn't just darts, by the way, but I thought they did a good job at hiding the empty numbers. I saw a couple of videos on social from the people that were in the crowds and were doing tours like around the arena, and it looked fairly empty. I would say I put one in the group chat last week for the Zuffer event in the 3 Arena and was like, that's been curtained off there, and so on. So, but they did a good job at not letting it look empty. But then you see the videos on social that for people from there, it was lacking a little bit. And like I say, there was some okay performances, but when I look at the numbers, like normally we get a couple of ton topping averages, and the best. And don't get me wrong, 99 is still very good, but we're kind of used to those big 3-figure averages that we're used to seeing. And it kind of goes back to what I've said quite a lot, and I stand by it. At the top of the sport, I don't think the level is as good now as what it was in 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 19. For me, they were the golden years at the top end. Look, I get the best player in the world isn't there. I understand that. He's the one that adds that bit of stardust, but the others aren't chipping in. For me, we don't see those eye-catching averages, those blistering performances from many like we used to beforehand, when we used to see Taylor, MVG, Lewis, Anderson, Wright, Barney putting in these eye-catching performances. At the moment, I just think the top stars aren't getting to that level.
I think it's not just that. It's not often enough. It's not often, we're seeing them get there. We're seeing the good performances from them, but we're not seeing it often enough. And if you're right, if you go back, 17, 18, 19, then you look at those top 10 in the world, I think you will see the same sort of, barring Luke Littler, because it's not normal what he's doing. You'll probably see somewhere near the same numbers of peak. You know, you'll see that they're peaking out at about the same numbers, but they were doing it more regularly. They were doing it more. It felt like they were doing it more often. And I think this is what it was like, a perfect storm for things just lacking this weekend, because often Christ, no one's been in as many darts venues as often as you have, and you can feel it when it's a bit flat. And we've been in the best darts venues on earth, and even they can sometimes be a bit flat. There are times when the Winter Gardens feels a bit flat. There are times when Alexandra Palace feels a bit flat. There are sessions when it doesn't feel like it's going to get going. And then what is required at that point is it needs a performance, and it's not always 105 plays 107. Sometimes it's 85 plays 85 and 6 breaks a throw and 3 mismatched darts and or a bull fitted. That there wasn't enough to get anyone moving towards the edge of their seat. If you're at home watching it, there wasn't enough to distract you from flicking through your phone. There wasn't the big finishes. There wasn't a big score. There wasn't a game that was really tense and went back and forth. There wasn't enough breaks to throw. There wasn't. It was, and any one of those things, I think, it tunes you in a little bit more. It gets the crowd in the arena going a little bit more. It allows I felt like the commentators were having to do a lot of heavy lifting, because they were having to almost create drama that wasn't there and tension that wasn't there, and showering praise where really it probably wasn't terribly deserved. It was fine. It was all right. Again, it had all of the markings of an event where people have had to traipse halfway across the world to an undersold event where the homegrown talent didn't put on a huge performance.
Well, I've just randomly picked one, right? I've gone to the Auckland Darts Masters in 2015. Could have picked any. I've just randomly gone here. Taylor, 104. Lewis, 101. MVG, 102. Taylor, 107. Gary Anderson, 100. Lewis, 100. Barney, 100. Lewis, 100. Barney, 100. Lewis, 103. That was just one random one that I picked.
Yeah, that'll go, won't it? Like it's a big difference.
Yeah. The following year, because it's there. Anderson 106, MVG 100, Taylor 106, Anderson 103, Barney 101, MVG 107, Wade 107, Taylor 107, Lewis 101, Anderson 111, Barney 104, Lewis 100, Anderson 100. We don't see that as much anymore.
Do you think? No, you're right, but also it's difficult. I mean, if I'm honest, I expected more from the players that didn't deliver. I expected more. I expected a big performance from Ross Smith. I expected a big, like, I'll make you think about me next time you're short of numbers. That's what I expected from Ross Smith. Like, there's a load of 180s, and you know, make it hard for them to not pick you next time. I thought Bunting would do better than he did, but it's too often. I'm afraid, like it is too often that we're seeing people move through 2 or 3 rounds with averages in the 80s.
Yeah,
you know, that's really well. Johnny Clayton plays well. You know, he played fine, but he won his opener with an 86 average. He comfortably won his quarterfinal with a 90 average. I know he upped it a little bit in the semi-final against Wade, but it didn't. It wasn't the Johnny that we love, was it? It was just all right.
It wasn't the swashbuckling Johnny. He's won a title, but it wasn't that swashbuckling performance that we wanted.
No, it just was all right.
The other thing that I brought it up, I did an Insta and TikTok video, and I spoke about it in the preview. And I'm interested to get your take on this. Now, jet lag and fatigue, whether people like it or not, is a thing, right? Forget just in life, jet lag and fatigue is a real thing. If you go to work, if you're jet lagged and fatigued, you're not going to do your job to your best ability, are you? If you're not fully on it, you're not going to do the job to your best ability. If I'm running on no
I was
sleep,
all prepared, to fight you on this, and then you've done a very good job of articulating that very well in a way that I can't argue with. I thought you were going to be much more sweeping than that, and I was going to get at you, but no, you've done a very good job there. I'll concede it.
Look, if I'm doing my job on 3 hours sleep, am I going to do a good job? No. And because of the magical world of social media, we see that the players traveling because they put themselves at airports and stuff like that. And some of them had horrific travelers. Gezi was more than happy to say in his interview and so on. But most of the traveling party only arrived very late on Tuesday or on Wednesday at some point. Now, bearing in mind, you play Friday, that's not good prep. Look, Kian was there a little bit earlier because he did some sightseeing. So he maybe was a little bit further ahead than some of the rest. It's like a boxer. Would you rock up to another country, another city, 48 hours before you fight? No, you wouldn't. And so on.
I did see some photographs, certainly of the flights, and I think they certainly, from what I saw, the flights were, let's say, on the more comfortable end of the plane.
They're all business.
Probably a little bit easier to get a sleep and to make sure you're rested. Now, I'm not saying that it's as good a quality sleep as you'd get in your bedroom at home or anything else. But I agree. I agree with you that you lose a lot of your marginal gains. All of your proper preparation but also, Phil, we see the way a lot of these lads prepare and travel, and we've seen them rock up at Premier League venues and how much how late that goes, and you think, well, no, I do think it's the norm for most of them. There's not a lot of them that are going 5 days, and I mean the calendar doesn't allow for it, does it? Often, that everything's so busy. You can't be there days before the event often, and really scientifically prepare yourself. But I do think there needs to be some acceptance that when you are moving people halfway across the globe on a fairly tight schedule, you are probably not going to get the very best out of them. Like you say, it's just common sense, that really, isn't it? And every now and again, there are people that, there are exceptions that prove the rule. There are people that defy that and they turn up and, I don't know how it worked years ago. I don't know if people used to get out there a bit early because, of course, the calendar, if you go back 10 years, 15 years, the PDC calendar wasn't as busy as it is now. There wasn't 100%. So the players could travel in different ways, and they could be more prepared, and they could. So that it is a problem, but unfortunately, it is the system. More events means more money. More money means everybody's earning more and doing better. So it's difficult to complain. We've seen these players and they moan about the calendar and the schedule and how tired they are, and they're having to travel to Germany. Nobody forces you. There's none of them being kidnapped, as far as I think some of them may have been once or twice by management companies and forced to go to events, but no one's been kidnapped and sent to every single Pro Tour event or every single event. You can manage your own diary, and if you earn enough money, you earn the right to take one off. But it's always going to be a challenge. Yeah, especially when Australia and New Zealand, they are that. We've talked about the Middle East and the events over there. The Middle East is a piece of piss to get to. The flights are so easy, the flights are short, the time difference works well. It never seems to knock anybody backwards or forwards. Again, if you're on the East Coast of America, if you're flying in and out of New York, it's pretty comfortable. There's just not enough in that time difference in order to really cause too much of an upset. That flight, that route to Australasia, it's just such a ball ache. It's such a ball. You are crossing so many time zones. You can't just get on there and then get off at the other end. It's such a funny on. and you just have to accept that is what it is. You know, there's a reason why they all say yes. There's a reason why they all go. We might not have
You say that, and don't get me wrong. And I don't want to ruin what Barry says, but Barry does talk about this in the interview that's coming out tomorrow. So I don't want to ruin what
I haven't seen it, so I'm not spoiling it.
Well, if you've got to drive in the morning, it is in the back end of YouTube if you want to have a listen.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I have got to drive in. I've got a long drive. I'm in Manchester. I'll be leaving about 6. So yeah, I'll have that on the way.
On this whole, there's a couple of really good questions here in the chat room. Let me go back. Yeah, I thought Webby was outstanding on comms. I thought Mark Wilson did a really good job as well, to be fair. But I agree. I thought the Kiwi guy was shit. I thought Mark did a really good job. Interesting one from Andy. He said, big question, guys. Was the sponsor, would you be concerned if there was no Littler MVG? Yeah, a little. That you paid a lot of money, but you can't guarantee the big stars being there.
You can buy tickets for a semi-final at any major event and spend a fortune on it and turn up to find that, you know, your favourite player aren't making past the first round. But unfortunately, like, there is, as far as I'm aware, well, there are very, very few tickets in darts where you actually guarantee who you will see. There's a, you know, across the year, once you got the Premier League, but that sells out before you know who's in it, so you don't know who you're going to see at the Premier League. You know, night one of the World Championships, night one of the match play, you got a fairly decent idea. Beyond that, it's pretty hard. You go to UK Open, you can see everybody, but maybe not on a stage. You take your chances anytime you buy a ticket for darts.
Where was the other one? Not sure. What do you mean by toe the line? Because most of them do. Most of them don't speak out
do as
their true feelings, shall we say?
New Zealand is it is a challenge, isn't it? And it's not going to get any easier. Like, nobody's going to put a direct flight to New Zealand on from Europe. That's not going to happen. So you're always going to have a live. You're always going to have to switch wherever that may be, whether it's Singapore or whether it's somewhere else. But you're always going to have to take a couple of flights. That means you've got long flights either way. You simply can't get off a flight and walk on to the next one. Like, they all go at different times. New Zealand will always have these problems.
But I agree. And I'm interested to see, what Luke and Luke both said is we will do 2 years on, 1 year off. If they stick to that, then not a problem.
They should have alternated.
Yeah, agreed. Look, they could have planned it better. I agree. But look, Michael's not been to Australia, New Zealand for 4 years now, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Let's say Luke and Luke go down the Michael approach.
Outside the top 20 this time next year. You're not getting an invite. He'd be glad of an invite this time next year with his ranking.
But let's say it doesn't matter who it is. The general point in this is and by the way, I'm not saying they should be in everything because everyone has to manage their calendar before I say this. And the PDC need to do a better job in booking as well. And this goes back to another point, which I'm sure we'll come on to later. But do the top stars have a duty to help grow and promote the sport all around the world? Because there are huge darts fans in Australia and New Zealand. There are huge fans in, let's say we go back to Asia next year. Hong Kong's been touted, Hong Kong, America. Now, I'm not saying they all have to go to everyone, and this comes down to scheduling and so on, but is there a responsibility for the top players to help grow the sport still?
Well, there's a romantic opinion. Like, would I like it if they all felt like that? Of course I would. It'd be amazing. Do I think I'd feel like that in their situation? I'd like to think I would, but I'm also probably honest enough to think I'll probably
If I'm earning really good money,
yeah, I'm probably just going to look after number one.
yeah, I understand that.
You know, it's really romantic to think that they should all feel this like noble, you know, this noble calling, and there will be some that think that, and there'll be some people who aren't there and aren't invited who will swear blind that they've got a noble cause and a noble calling, and realistically, they probably just want an invite to the event. I don't think they should. It's asking too much. You know me. You know what I do dish out some advice to our little circle of folks, and I regularly say to people that you should like never expect too much of people because they'll always disappoint you. Like, yeah, it's gorgeous and it's lovely when you have people, genuinely good people. And don't get me wrong, there are people in darts. I'm not saying that darts is a dark place for this, or I'm not popping at anyone in particular, because there are people in darts who constantly go above and beyond what should be expected of them to support darts as a whole and to help move it forward and further it and do good things. So that's not my point. I just think you're on a hide into nothing if you expect it of people, especially if you expect it of the people that are the elite performers. The real difficulty, and this is the same in lots of sport, it's that there is a mindset that's required to become an elite competitor. There is a real particular mode of thinking and psychologically getting yourself into a place that is required to compete at that top level and to really stay there and deliver. It is rare, or it is often quite a different mindset to a really like outward thinking, altruistic, trying to make the world a better place viewpoint. They tend to be people that think differently. They're different characteristics. It's rare that crosses over. And that's the difficulty, because you expect then, or there is a hope for your elite performers who haven't got where they are because they're really gracious and kind and generous with their time and everything else. They've got where they are because they're elite performers. So it's difficult, I think, to then expect them to, want to be motivated to read. It's gorgeous when people do, because darts has given most of them a pretty good life, hasn't it?
Yeah, and by the way, I know people say, well, they'll do exhibitions and so on. I get that. And look, right now, I don't know what the money is for the World Series. I know what it used to be because Gary told me what he used to get paid. But by the way, for those that don't know, the PDC 8 get an appearance fee per event, plus the prize money, plus very good travel and so on. So it's not as if they're going there for a couple of grand. Is the thing. It's very lucrative, the World Series still. We're not talking about a couple of quid.
No.
We are talking about very, very good money still. Like I said, I don't know what it is now, but I remember what it was when Gary told me what he got per event, plus the prize money for the event. So for argument's sake, back in the day, there was 3 events in Australia and New Zealand. So you'd get X per event, then your prize money that you win for the event, plus all your travel paid for. That's a pretty good deal still.
It's not a bad way to spend a couple of weeks in the summer, is it? Now, and again, people, there is a dig, and we've seen it a few times, people will talk about exhibitions, right? You have to remember, like, some of these, I think people don't quite understand what some of these players are getting paid for exhibitions. But I'm telling you now, if you know a local electrician and he tells you he normally works 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, but you give him a ring and ask if he wouldn't mind popping round to put you a plug socket in for 10 grand on a Saturday afternoon, I reckon he'll say yes. I reckon he'll do it. And I don't think he'll care how tired he is. And I don't think he'll care what days he normally works and whether he's got to go to work the next day or not. I think if you pick the phone up to him and say, do you fancy just doing what you do on a normal day, but just there and I'll give you an extra 10 grand, I reckon he'd say, yeah, that's right. Absolutely not a problem. The exhibition income that some of these guys have is considerable. Try and book one. If you want to know what it is, try and book one. Try and book one of them to come to your pub and play darts with everybody. You'll see what the cost is.
Yeah, look, 100%. And look, I'm not going to give you exact figures, but when it was 3 events, the top players were taking home 6 figures for that part of their job. So it's not small change. For the appearance fee, the prize money, it was 6 figures. So it was decent coin. Now,
proper money.
Yeah, 100%. Now, on the Australia-New Zealand debate, like we've seen, it's winter down there at the moment. One, do you think adding that third event back in would make a difference because it's an extra pay? 2, do you think the time of year would make, if they moved it, time of year would make a difference? And 3, especially in Australia, would it make a difference going back to the major cities, your Sydneys, your Melbournes, your Adelaide, try Adelaide perhaps, rather than Wollongong?
So I think to answer that, probably in different parts. I think they need. I don't think the time of year makes a jot of difference because, and I'll tell you for why, Phil. Right? I think people who want to go and watch darts will go and watch darts. I was
talking about for the players more than anything. Would it make moving it for the players make a difference?
I refer you to the earlier point about how much they're getting paid. Couldn't give a shit. No, keep it where it is. I got I know what some of these players earn. And we see what they earn, not just from their earnings, but from all the other deals that they do and their sponsors and everything else. And we know what they're on. No, their kids are at schools with longer holidays than 6 weeks. They're fine. There's loads of other school holidays in the year. Even the kids in state school are off for 13 weeks of the year. That's plenty. Right, you're all right. And I'm sure they can afford to pay the fine if they take the kids out at a different time of year. I'm certain they can. So no, that doesn't bother me. I'm not bothered about them being in the summer. If you don't want to go, you don't have to go. It's fine. What I do think they should do is the question of where it should be should be answered exclusively by where we'll sell the most tickets. It's a very different problem to have than what they're used to. Because there are, I think there's certain events you could put them anywhere in Britain, you'll sell every ticket. You'll sell every ticket to the match play. You could sell it 5 times. You can sell every ticket to the World Championships. You can sell. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter whether it's winter. It doesn't matter whether it's cold and rainy outside in London. It doesn't matter whether it's dark on a night. It doesn't matter. You'll just sell it. You have to think a little bit carefully about that when you're going to different parts of the world because you are going into an emerging market, and it's the equivalent of if we heard that they were going to do a Euro Tour event, and they said they're going to do a Euro Tour event in Italy, we would probably say, brilliant, that'd be good. They'll do well there, that'll be good. And, you might get enough Italian people interested to, fill somewhere. And you'd think, well, where will you have it? Well, they could have it in Milan, they could have it in Rome, they could have it somewhere a bit rogue, like Florence or something like that. Where is it? Oh, it's halfway down the Amalfi Coast. Right? You'd think that's bonkers, wouldn't you? Put it somewhere where loads of people live and they'll all buy a ticket to the darts. Put it somewhere with a massive expat community where there's loads of people from Europe. You've got loads of English people, loads of Dutch people, etc., that are going to be wanting to come and tag on the back of that, and they haven't been to darts for a few years after they emigrated. Piggyback that. So that's what I would do. I would just look to site it wherever you think you can sell the most tickets, generate the most income, best atmosphere. That's what I'd do.
I'm just thinking from a player point of view is, are you going to entice the players more? We're going to Melbourne. Like, there's a reason.
For me, Phil, you haven't got the job of the World Series events is not to entice the players to go. I just don't think it is that like if the players aren't interested in going, it's not. I tell you. So the short question would be on that: if you said to Michael Van Gerwen, actually, Michael, like, look, money's the same, dates are the same, but it's in Sydney. Will you go? You know what the answer is. And the answer is the same for both. And the answer is the same for both Luke. So I think, well, it's not going to impact. I don't think it's going to change the players that will go. I think all the players that are there now would go anyway. Perfectly reasonable lineup. You know, you're missing a big three, but I just think that logically there is some sense in moving it to a city where you can bring more income in, sell more tickets.
Well, this question kind of beats my thing that. If it was in Kentucky, would they all want to go? Or is it because it's in New York they all want to go and be part of that event?
The short answer, I mean, I'm not sure, but I don't think people would be as excited about going. But our friends from the CDC might tell us that Kentucky is a booming hotbed of darts, and it would sell out really well. In which case, I would say, well, go to Kentucky then. Let those people there experience what it's like to go and see a PDC event and do it there. And if the players don't want to go, go to the next one down. Go to the next one down. See if they want to go to Kentucky. I don't think you have to go far. I genuinely don't think you have to go far down the PDC order of merit. It's going to be very rare that 3 people say no. Very rare.
We'll see next year.
You're not going to have to go far outside the top 10. Honestly, you're not going to have to go far outside the top 10 ever.
It's interesting. Joel asked, is there an Australian MSG? In terms of arenas, I don't know. In terms of outside stadia, yes, 100%. Because everyone talks about Melbourne Cricket Ground. I know they play. It's not right, was it? Australian rules, whatever it is, and cricket there. So there is, in terms of stadia, yes, there are massive, iconic stadiums. In terms of arenas, I don't know. Is the honest answer.
The RAC in Perth, that I've always thought that looked really cool. Like have you ever seen the pictures of Perth Arena?
Yeah.
Like, if you have a look at it, it looks incredible.
I've just googled it as you've talked.
You've got it. Like that looks unreal, doesn't it? Like, it's a really cool looking 15,000. So you could set it up. You could set it up all different ways. I mean, it looks great. I'm just like looking at the setups for basketball. They've done boxing there, MMAs. So the UFC have been there. Lomachenko fought there. I think WWE have been there as well. That seems to be the sort of general use best indoor arena. From what I know, I'm not an expert on Australia and its geography. There's got to be somewhere. Where do they play the Australian Open? Where do they play the tennis?
Melbourne.
That's got to be a half decent, like, venue with a roof, But is it outdoors? Maybe it doesn't go to a roof.
It's outdoors, yeah.
That's not going to
I think it might be the Rod Laver. It's definitely outdoors in Melbourne. But yeah, it's just interesting because then there's been some really, really good points. Chat room, you've been on fire. I'm really liking the interaction that you guys are giving here because there's so many good ideas, and so I'm hoping this week in Wollongong the standard is better. Because like I say, it wasn't great in New Zealand, and it wasn't great from all, not just the locals. That Clayton Mine had an absolute mare and so on, but it goes back to, like someone said in the chat room, we need more elite players. look, we have got elite players, but the level isn't as good as what it was. And I don't know how we get it back there.
Well,
I think
the problem, I think, is like we have got elite players, but when you look at the top 16, there isn't a lot of the top 16 where you could say they were playing like their best. You know, Gezi Price, elite player, but he isn't at his peak at the moment. He's for large parts of his career played better than this. James Wade arguably is playing as good as he's played at any point, I think, in the last 10 years. But there's an awful lot to choose from with James Wade, and there's a lot of good darts, and it's difficult to know when he's at his peak or not. You know, Josh Rock, I don't think is peaking at the moment. Stephen Bunting certainly isn't peaking at the moment. Gary Anderson, glimpses, but not peaking at the minute. Johnny Clayton, like we saw it every now and again on a Thursday. He's doing it all right, but it's not, it's not consistent, is it? And it just feels a little bit like too many of them are not at their best at the moment. And they might just be being shown up by those that are. But, Chris Dobie is and has been for the last year and a half, maybe, away from his best darts. So is Nathan Aspinall. Again, we've seen glimpses of it here and there, but he's not being able to find. And that's just talking about the players at the very top of the rankings. Now, I was in Sports Direct earlier, and do you know how many of them unicorn? Do you remember them code darts? Them unicorn code darts that were an absolute fortune. They're about £100, right? Do you know how many players code darts are in Sports Direct for £20? It's £20. I nearly came home with 4 sets of darts just because I thought, shit, they're too good to not buy it. £20 to go. Right. I haven't even touched on those yet.
Here we go. Chat room. And Dan, quick comparison. So I've just pulled up the top 16 ranking from 2016. Let's compare the top 10 there to the top 10 now. And if we were doing a head-to-head, who wins? So the top 10 from 2016. Michael Van Gerwen, Gary Anderson, Adrian Lewis, Phil Taylor, Peter Wright, James Wade, Robert Thornton, Michael Smith, Raymond van Barneveld, and Dave Chisnell. That was the top 10 at 2000. I think that's an unbelievable top 10.
Doesn't feel that long ago, does it? It's only 10 years.
That was 2016.
How many of them are still in the top 16? How many of them are still in the top 10?
1, 2. 2 are still in the top 10, I think, which is MVG and James Wade.
Yeah. Gary's just outside, isn't he?
Yeah. But against the current top 10 in the world, Littler, Van Veen, Humphreys, Price, Clayton, Wade, MVG, Josh Rock, Stephen Bunting, and Danny Noppert. Now, on the current form, I think the 2016 team win.
I mean, they won't win. Yeah, you're right. They won't win the overall trophy. There's only one winner if you do a straight knockout. But
but if you put the two teams against each other,
mean average over the course of the day, that's a better performing top 10. I would say it's going to deliver better numbers. And this is what we said. There's too many of those players that aren't playing their best, and they're still in the top 10. Danny Noppert's not been at it for a while. He's managing to stay in the top 10. Bunting's been a mile off. It's actually where it's going to get interesting, Phil. And he's not on, so we can't wind him up about it in the time of year. But I'm not suggesting we do it now. It is going to get interesting when we have to start looking at Premier League names, because there are going to be names that people expect to be there who are going to be a mile away and haven't played very well for quite some time if they don't change something. Right. And there's just going to be a lot that are not near the
Right,
standard
so
required.
I was asked this question on the live stream I did on Thursday when we were previewing the New Zealand Darts Masters. We just had a bit of a Q&A at the end, and I was asked this question. I think if you were to ask me to pick 10 names now, we're presuming, let's say it does go back to 10 names. I think it's a very easy 10 to pick right now. And I said this, that I fully understand that there is a fuckload of ranking money to be played for, and there is a lot of tournaments to play for, which can change. But if you were asking me to pick 10 now for the Premier League, I think it's relatively easy.
Well, I tell you what I'd think, and this might be really boring, and I might get some stick for it. And I'm not boring at these things. I normally try and have a bit of an interesting view. I think it's the top 9 and Nyman. But I'm not sure how you would argue against that. I think it's the top 9 and Nyman. I think you could definitely argue that you could switch Danny Noppert for Wessel Nyman, but I don't think you could argue against Littler, Van Veen, Humphreys, Price, Clayton, Wade, MVG, Rock and Bunting, simply because who do you pick from outside of that? Because they're outside of that for a reason, and it's because they've played even worse.
Right. If you ask me to pick the 10 names for the 2027 Premier League right now,
and I'm really sorry, just before you get going, there's a reason why I haven't included Gary, just because I assume he'll tell him to bugger off.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. Littler, Van Veen, Humphreys, Price as your top 4 on the tour card order of merit, on the tour card race. Then the next 4, Johnny, Wade, Clayton, and Aspinall. For me, you can't leave them out, which leaves 2. MVG will be in, and Nathan Aspinall will get a return if you're asking me to pick it right now. Danny Noppert's not getting in. If you didn't pick Danny Noppert this year for making 5 TV semi-finals, you ain't picking him next year when he's had an absolute fucking mess.
I haven't got Danny Noppert in my 10. I don't think that Aspinall. I like the bloke. I think he's good value. In the last year, a final of the Players' Championship finals and 1 decent game in a second round against Luke Littler does not undo a year of if we're honest, Phil, not good enough. First round of the match play, first round of the Grand Prix, round robin of the Slam, second round of the Masters, second round of the match play this year. It's not good enough. It's not good enough for me.
But who do you pick over him? Who's done more? Because there's a lot. If your name isn't Luke, you haven't won anything.
No.
So, and I genuinely think we have missed Nathan Aspinall on TV this year. He gives you something. He gives you energy. He gives you energy on stage. At the moment, I think darts is boring. Right? We go back to those players that we were talking about in 2016. We got passion. We got celebration. We got people giving it. We got needle. Now we've got robots. Right?
I can't have
they walk up and they take their darts out of the board. Every now and then we'll get a celebration. Right? But you go back to MVG used to give it all the time. Angry Gary was good. Adrian used to give it. Phil used to give it a bit. Peter Wright used to give it. Thornton give it. Michael Smith give it. Where now they don't. Right? Josh Rock has all the, and I love Josh to bits. He's got all the ingredients to be a superstar, but it's almost he plays within himself. Do you know what I mean? I want to see him give it some. If he takes out a good finish, let the guy behind know that you've taken out a good finish. Why was Gezi box office? Why did everyone speak about Gerwyn Price?
Yeah.
Because he did it differently. He gave it the licks. Where now they don't.
I just don't think. I can't sign off on Aspinall. The darts hasn't been good enough. Like, people are talking in the chat room about the game against Littler. Like, if you want to put someone in the Premier League based on one decent performance in Blackpool, then put Cam Menzies in. Like, taking out Luke Humphreys on the with a 170. Like, put him in if that's your own. He's not on my list, but if your only parameter is he had a good game in Blackpool, then
if you're going to 10, right, we can all look. I think everyone can agree on 9, right? So there's that one spot up for grabs. Ryan Searle, I love Ryan to bits. However, he got overlooked for the World Series, which is a trial run after getting to a World semi-final. It says to me, no chance. Danny Noppert, you can't pick him. If you didn't pick him this year, you ain't picking him the following year. Aspinall is above Ross Smith in the provisional rankings. He's above Bunting. He's above Dobie. He's above Woodhouse. He's above Ratajski. He's above Watamina. Who else are you chucking in then?
Right, if you want to, right. So if you're just gonna, if we're going, I'll tell you what you do then. If the parameters are just down to let's have a bit of fun and let's have it chaotic, just put Bo Greaves in.
I wouldn't dislike that at all.
I'd put Bo Greaves in, and then you're gonna get loads of stories because she's that good. She will pick points up, like she will win, she will beat people. So I think Bo Greaves is a fair call. I think you could certainly make the argument to include it. I think if you do that, what you then do is you actually probably send a message to the fans of Danny Noppert and Ryan Searle, where you are pretty much drawing a line under saying, look, you don't have to have had your hands on a trophy, you don't have to have made a final, and you don't have to be ranked a certain place. This is something different. It's a travelling circus exhibition, and we're picking on a very different criteria. So I just think I think the inclusion of Bo would send a message.
I don't dislike that at all. And I just go back to, I don't want players they're now boring. Don't get me wrong. Do they throw amazing darts? Yes, 100%. But the characters aren't there anymore, right? People used to buy into the characters
and what they were as well. The characters are slipping and sliding further and further down the rankings, aren't they?
The old school ones,
right,
100%. I agree.
Vandenberg, even the ones you love to hate, are sneaking. They're slipping down as well.
100%. But like I say, I like the Adrian Lewis's, the Peter Wrights. Okay, Adrian's not on tour, and Peter probably won't be on tour much longer. But they used to have that stage persona, and they used to give you something. Where at the moment, this current crop of elite players, barring one or two, just don't do it.
The problem is you can't change people. So you're not going to all of a sudden get, I don't think, and again, I mean this with the greatest of respect, we're not all of a sudden going to get box office Danny Noppert, are we? It's not going to change overnight.
No, I agree. But have players become scared, or have they dubbed it down because of DRA fines and so on, or the backlash that Gezi got from a certain proportion of the crowd? Have they dumbed it down because they don't want to get that stick? Look,
what I think it is, I think you can't give it big licks when everyone's getting their ass handed to them by a 17-year-old. And I think that's what's happened. I think people were giving it big licks for years until Luke Littler came along, and then they all felt a bit silly because they were all getting their asses handed to them. And it's difficult to give it big licks when that's happening at the same time. And I don't think that it's really difficult to give it out when you aren't being competitive. And what I think is, I'll tell you what I think, Phil. We started off this conversation talking about how the elite players aren't playing well enough. And I think that is why we aren't seeing all the bells and whistles and entertainment and box office that goes alongside it. Because it is very different to have a swagger on stage if you're averaging 86. It's really difficult to it's really difficult to be growling at your opponent if you've missed 14 darts at double. That's the challenge, is when the standard isn't there and it's not good enough, you aren't going to get people giving it. If you think back to the players that were giving it out and what we're thinking about times when people got stuck into each other in interviews and there was a bit of back and forth, you look at how well those players were playing at the time. And they were all, they were all at their peak. They were all playing amazing. They could all beat each other. Peter Wright could give it to MVG because on his day, he could beat him. MVG could give it to Peter Wright because he could beat him too. The difficulty is there's too many people at the top of this game that know, even on their best day, Luke Littler turns them over. And it makes people wilt away a little bit, in my opinion.
It's a really interesting one, and we'll continue this in a minute. But slightly earlier, our guest has arrived. So on the other side of this, we will have Davies. Good evening, my friend. How are we?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, well, good, mate. Did you win tonight?
Yeah, we're 4-0 up at the moment. I've got a doubles game left in about 40 minutes time, something like that. So, yeah, we might as well do this now.
See, that's dedication coming out and on a league night for us. Good weekend for you, mate. You seem to have found some form at just the right time.
Oh, yeah. I got a busy back end of the year. I've had a tough beginning of the year. Personally and family wise, don't really want to go too much into it, but my dad passed away. So yeah, that was tough, and I slowly lost interest in darts. I didn't pick them up, didn't want to play. But yeah, I've got that fighting spirit again. I'm practicing, and yeah, so I went to Challenge Tour the weekend, and I've had a very, very good weekend. So yeah, things are looking good.
I'd say you kind of beat me to it there, and I was going to ask had anything happened, because last year you won your first Challenge Tour. You then went on to win Red Dragon Champions, qualifier for the Worlds, won a game at Ali Pali, and then it just, in the click of my fingers, we didn't see you even playing. So you kind of beat me to it there, that you've gone from the ultimate high to the lowest of the low in a short space of time. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. And just to throw an extra thing in there, I won the gold medal in South Korea for Wales as well. So yeah, it was an absolute amazing year, and then it all just crumbled before me. So yeah, I'm slowly getting myself back together. The family are okay; they're doing okay. So yeah, like I said, I'm practicing again. I missed Germany Challenge Tour, so I've just slowly been doing ADC stuff and getting back into it. And yeah, again, had a very, very good weekend, and I've shot myself back up the rankings. So who knows?
I love that. That's like, obviously not what happened, but I love the fact that you're now on that trajectory where you were. And I know that we spoke off camera at Ali Pali, but what was that feeling like when you beat Mario van den Bohada? Because you were the unknown going into, obviously we knew who you were, but to the casual fan watching, they were like, who's this Welsh guy that just rocked up and put on a show?
Yeah, so it was unbelievable, but I was quietly confident as well, because Mario hasn't had the greatest of years, and I've had a great year. So yeah, he was sort of on the way down, now he's on the way up. So I thought I need to capitalize on this, and yeah, to stand on that stage with a full crowd and seeing so many Welsh fans there and being supported, my family were there. It was just an experience that I'll never ever forget. But all it's done is drop the carrot in front of me, and I want it more. So yeah, it was brilliant, and yeah, like I said, I want to do it again.
Look, going back to that World Championship, after winning that first game, what's it like going into round two, knowing what's in front of you, when obviously the whole world's talking about it and people go, oh, it's the worst possible. But for you, was it just like, I'm relishing this challenge?
Yeah, I relish any challenge that's given me, but it's like in other perspectives of beating someone in a street fight and then your next fight is someone in a tank and you've got a penknife. So yeah, that's what it was like, honestly. So, but everyone says you've got nothing to lose. Go and enjoy it. And do you know what? The opportunities that's given me through Luke, because he's the number one face of the sport, isn't he? But yeah, the opportunities that come about, and I think what was really good is that I think United were playing Villa the day before, and no, that evening I think it was, and myself and Luke was the halftime presentation on Sky Sports of tomorrow. Luke Littler's playing Davies, and we were the face of it. So like things like that, it's like, wow, I don't get those opportunities once. I'm just a little lad from Denby doing big things, and yeah, I'm just going to relish it and carry on. But yeah, it was it was a massive task to ask, and I said to my partner, I said, I don't just want to roll over and him batter me, even though it was 3-0. I played really well, and I just come short, and he went on to win it again, and rightly so as well.
It was one of those It was one of those games, wasn't it, where unfortunately, as you mentioned, the score on record doesn't really reflect the game, does it? That isn't how that game went, and it isn't how you played. But unfortunately, that's how it's written. Was it something that when you saw that draw, obviously you know how good he is and you know what he can do, but did you relish that moment of, you know, you come through a qualifier? We watched it all afternoon. We live streamed the qualifier, so we watched you work your way through that, got a win, and at that point, is it all about the experience of that? You know, you've made it there, you're on the stage, so it might as well be the most watched game of that round. It might as well be the game everyone tunes into.
Yeah, so after I beat Shane McGurk in the final, I don't even think the penny dropped then. It was I think it was about an hour in the journey on the way home. And it's not just you've won a competition, you're going to Ali Pali, the thing that you've watched for years and the thing that you're working towards is like, this is happening now, because it was never on my radar. I didn't have a tour card. I didn't really think about it. And I just entered it and got through the rounds and won. So yeah, it was like, Dave, you're going to the World Championship, not just any comp, you're going to the World Championship, like, wow. And then I was on a Caribbean cruise, so the signal was awful. There's no Wi-Fi. And then a text message come through to say, you'll be all right first round, but you're not going to win the tournament. So I was like, right, okay. I don't really know what that means. It could be anyone. And then I finally got a Wi-Fi and things. And then it was Mario, and then obviously Luke Littler. So I didn't want to think about the Littler game too much, but that would be amazing. But my full concentration was, let's get through Mario first. If you think too much about Luke, I could have rolled over and lost 3-0. The occasion could have got above me and on top of me, and I might not have never got that chance. So my full concentration and priorities was working hard and doing the practice and taking care of Mario first, and then let's have a look to see what happens against Luke. But yeah, it was a fairy tale draw for me, really, of someone who's low in the ranking and playing really well. And then if you're going to go out of any competition, why not go out against the world number one on prime time Sunday night and on Ali Pali? So yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. I would have liked to have met him round 2, 3, 4 maybe, but yeah, but not second round, not that early, please.
How much is it, like, that experience and, you know, coming through that quality and having that taste of being at Alexandra Palace and that World Championship? I know you're saying you sort of picking things back up now, and you know, and you are starting to get, you know, practicing more again. I know you balance what I often refer to as a proper job. Like I know you balance a proper job as well. But like, how much has that made you think, well, that, you know, that is where I could get to? You know, I've come through a qualifier and I appeared there, but realistically, is it something that you think you could be there every year? That could be something that you regularly get to go to and experience. Are you near that point at the minute?
It's a balancing act at the moment, and it was before whatever's happened. But it's I had a taste of Pro Tours last year. I played on 6 Pro Tours. I got to a quarter final, but it's consistency, I think. I can dip into the hundreds, and all weekend I was around the 90s, but that's not good enough. Some players losing 110, You know what I mean? So it's like how good you have to be to sustain a tour card. So, and I don't want to. I want to be in a position where I don't need to win. I just want to enjoy darts, and if I don't win, never mind. Pick yourself up. You've got another comp. I don't want to be in a position where I need to win this to pay rent or my car or mortgage or food I don't want to be in that position at all. So I'm guaranteed money from work. So if I have a bad day at work, I'm still getting paid. Everyone gets bad days, but if you have a bad day at darts, and argument's sake, if you're in Germany or Holland or wherever you're playing, all that's doing is costing you money. So at this moment in time, it's suitable for me having a full-time job and playing darts, but it's that massive leap of if I get a tour card, I think my playing time it goes down by 20-25% because I can't do Modus, ADC, Challenge Tour, all the local stuff. I can't do any of that. It's only pro stuff I can do. So am I better off realistically without a tour card, and I can maybe do well at Challenge Tour, play in Pro Tours, play at Modus, play in ADC Tours. Then I can pick and choose what I want to play in, but there's no guarantee I'm going to be high enough in Challenge Tours to play Pro Tours. I know that, I get that. So yeah, there's a lot to think about, but I've got a busy end of the year. I've got Modus coming up. I've got Faroe Islands playing for Wales. I've got another Challenge Tour coming up. So and then the back end of the year, I've got Lakeside to think about. So yeah, we've got a busy end of the year, and yeah, we'll see what happens after that.
You kind of beat me to it there. Lakeside guaranteed a spot. Are you going to take that place and play on that iconic stage, or are you going to try and qualify for Ali Pali again? Then you've got a decision to make.
The plan was to try and qualify again, but the qualifier is on the same day I fly out to the Faroe Islands to play for Wales. So I can't play the qualifier because I need to be in the Faroe Islands. So so this year I will be at Lakeside, and it's also nice to say that I played both. I've been there as a fan. I watched Webby win there, so yeah, it'd be nice to say that I've played there as well, and then I've played on both World Championship stages. So yeah, unfortunately, the plan was to try and qualify again. That would have been amazing, and that's the path I would have taken 100%. But yeah, Wales is a massive part in my darting career. I love doing it, so yeah, I'll be going there this year. If I didn't have Lakeside, I'd probably change plans and squash some things together so I can definitely try and qualify. But having a good plan B, I'm going to take that road for this year.
And I don't mean this disrespectfully, but to win Lakeside, you're not going to have to run into Luke Littler. Now, the numbers that we've seen you post on the Challenge Tour, and with the numbers that we've seen at Lakeside, you must think, I've got a damn good chance of becoming the Lakeside champion here.
Yeah, I think that in any competition I enter, it doesn't matter who's in the room, I always back myself. Until you see the draw against Luke, obviously. But then, but I won the Irish Open last year, but I've not done anything else on the WDF. So I'm not seeded. It is what it is. I play whoever. So I don't think about it that much, but I'm playing really well at the moment, and I always back myself. So yeah, if I don't think I can win that, then I won't bother going. So I've beaten majority of those players that are in the World Championship in where is it? Sorry,
Lakeside.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah. So yeah, I play those players week in, week out. So why can't I win it? So, but yeah, it's that at the end of the day. I can get beat quite easily as I can just steam through roll everyone else as well.
That was my question. That was exactly what I was going to ask. I was looking through the last couple of years, and I was looking at numbers and names, and I thought there is an awful lot of winnable games when you look at numbers and you look at the names that people like you say you play them regularly and you beat them and they beat you, but you in that environment, in that field, you can be really competitive, can't you? Like you can go there and think I can do some damage here. Yeah, and winning two Challenge Tours proves that. Look at the names that are there. I won one last year.
and it's not being disrespectful, but or anyone can do it. But if you win one, fair enough. But if you win two, you're a really good player. When I won my first Mo this week, you think, yeah, you've done it once, but I want to do it 2 or 3 times. So I've done it twice now. I just need the series win. So yeah, but I usually play better against a better player. My concentration is better. I practice differently. It's weird that like tonight, I know it's only local league, that I haven't really practiced as much because I know 90% of the time I'm going to win. So, but something like that, my whole mentality, my concentration level, my practice regimes, they're all different. I do things different, which no one sees. So, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to Lakeside. Like again, I've not been there, but yeah, I'm playing well, and I always back myself.
Would it be nice to give it to Webby as well if you'd won it and say, "I done it as well, pal"?
Yeah, but then I think he was a lot younger than me when he's done it. But yeah, he always we have good banter, me and Mark. We always have. But yeah, to follow in his footsteps and be from the same town, that'll be iconic, wouldn't it?
100%. And busy weekend. Your defence of the Red Dragon Champion of Champions this coming weekend. A very tough tournament to win. So you must be, one, delighted that you've won that, and two, extra pressure to defend it? Yeah,
I think so. I think if you ask me if there's going to be one competition you'd like to win again, it would be Champions of Champions. The format is so brutal. First to two, you got to win the ball pretty much to give yourself that extra edge. I think I only lost the ball one game last year, and I was against Rob Owen. Then he started 180, and I thought, right, I'm up against it here. But yeah, such an iconic tournament, and I love it. So yeah, I think there is extra pressure to be the first one back to back. That would be unbelievable. And the competition that Red Dragon put on is so well run. It's so well organised. It is really, really good. So, and last year was really good. It's obviously a lot of money and things, but this year they've upped it again. So you get Q School paid for, travel accommodation, you get prelim in the World Series. They're just growing and growing and growing, and it's the first year without the professionals in. So yeah, it's a massive tournament, and luckily for me, I've been there, done it, so I've sort of got an edge as well. But yeah, I'd love to do that again. I really, really would.
I love that. That's superb. Before we let you go, next year, Q School, are you going to go to Q School to try and win that card?
Well, beginning of this year, I went there not to get a card. I went there for one day and went away, purely because if you're not doing it on, rightly or wrongly, this is how I think and see it. If you're not doing it on the Challenge Tour, you're not going to do it on the Pro Tour. You're not. Rightly or wrongly, everyone's got their own opinion, but that's my opinion. Because the standard now of the Pro Tour is ridiculous. So I went there for one day, and I just wanted to capitalise on what I did the year before and try and beat that, and then build on from there instead of just taking a massive jump. So that obviously backfired. I've had a not very good start to the year, but now I'm like 18th, I think, in the ranking after a great weekend. I've put in some good performances this weekend, so yeah, why can't I do it again? It's that balancing act of do I want a tour card, or do I want freedom of playing in what I want? So I'm still unsure about that. But if I do get a card, then I got to think the other side about work as well. Do I carry on that and try and balance it as I've been doing? Because Pro Tours are midweek now, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a lot of annual leave to burn through, isn't it?
Exactly that, yeah. And especially the ones in Germany and Holland and stuff. It's like a week at a time, isn't it? So yeah, it's a big decision to make. But I do like to have the freedom of playing in what I want, when I want, and still having the choice, if you can't make something, saying no, because you're still going to be invited back. So yeah, that is a big question and big decision, but I've got plenty to go out the rest of this year to think about first, and then yeah, we'll see what January brings, but we'll see where we finish in the Challenge Tour ranking as well. I could go straight through to second phase. And then maybe, because I've not been to second phase yet, I've always gone there, not qualified, I've gone for one day and gone home. So yeah, let's see what happens, and then we'll make that decision at the end of January, or beginning of January, sorry.
Dave, it's a pleasure to have you on. We know you've got a game to go and get ready for, mate. Massively appreciate it. When we know when you're playing at Lakeside, let me know, because I only live 40 minutes from Lakeside. We'll get you in the studio as well. We'll get you to come down to the studio. But thank you so much for your time, buddy. I will see you on Saturday, and congratulations on what was a fabulous weekend, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Cheers, Dan.
Oh,
I'll tell you what, I love that. That was a real refreshing outlook.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? He's you know me, there are, do you know, I feel like I'm being horrible to everybody else. There are not enough people in the sport of darts that, you know, speak as well and come across as well and bright and switched on as Dave Davies does. And the more of him that there are in the sport, the better. Thoroughly decent chap, really does understand the game and his own game and how life and the world works. I think, a really refreshing view. He totally gets it, doesn't he? And they're exciting. It's exciting because I completely understand the. I think he works in NHS. I think he has like a proper job. He's got a proper job, like a grown-up, and it would be, I expect, a huge decision for him to walk away from that job and do something else, and not be certain where his next paycheck's coming from and how he's paying X, Y, and Z. But it's a good problem to have, because it means he'll have done something impressive to get the offer of a tour card. I think he can be a real threat at Lakeside, you know. I really do think he can. He's got such a game on him, and you know we had the pleasure of streaming that qualifying event last year, and he brushed everyone. You know, there were some big names in that field, you know, like real big hitters that produce big scores, and he just never looked in danger all day. He brushed everybody aside and then dealt with the pressure gorgeously to beat Mario van der Bahara at Alexandra Palace. Again, we don't give the top 10 stick for not getting one over Luke Littler, so it is what it is, isn't it? And I do think if you're going to go, if you said to me, Dan, you can qualify for Ali Pali, who do you want to play? I'd say Littler. Please, no, give me the game with the most eyes on it, which will get more people knowing my name than anybody else. Give me the highest profile match on Sky Sports in the best time slot that I can sell my patches for more money for. Like, give me that. I think he's had a great run at it and represented himself really well.
Yeah, well, a couple of bits on that. First of all, I'm not sure when Webby flies back from Australia, but we will get Webby on at some point.
I can't believe, Phil, we've had the last couple of weeks of guests that we had, and Jar isn't here as well. We certainly should have got the Welsh correspondent on, shouldn't we? You should have had Carwyn on for some Welsh language translation. I can't believe we've not got the Welsh correspondent involved the last couple of weeks.
To be fair, look, it would be great if Dave got the thing, but for the WDF, put eyes on the product. If Matt could qualify and get to the final, that would be the best thing possible for the WDF at Lakeside, because the eyes Matt would put on it, I know he's not there yet and he's got work to do, but if he can get there, would be unbelievable. And he's in the chat room. Dave, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on, my friend. You absolutely smashed it. It was great to have you on.
There is some interesting names, you know. There's some people that we're going to see, and we know they've got some big games. We've got some big game players as well coming to Lakeside this year. We've got some North Americans that can play absolutely superb darts. We've got, and I know we've seen them this week, but we've got some Australasians coming over that have got spots. Whether or not they decide to actually come and take that spot up is a different thing. But there's some real talent in there. And like on paper, Phil, and I know that it gets some stick and people have a moan about it, but like honestly, on paper, if you like this year, I don't think it looks like a decent tournament. You know, like it looks
100%.
Really. The key is going to be the uptake. You know, it's the people that have got a spot and have qualified, whether it's by their ranking or the regional tables or whatever that is. But people like saying yes and going, that will be the key. But on paper, it could be a really impressive tournament.
The other thing they have to do is, I don't know if it's been confirmed, but last year, when S4C took over the production on the Wednesday, I think it was brilliant. When they took it over, it was sensational. However, for the first 4 days or whatever it was, they let the players down because the production was nothing short of fucking shambolic.
Yes,
now,
it was poor.
If S4C do the whole tournament, that is great for the product and the players. So that has to happen because they cannot let the players down like they did for that first couple of rounds. Because for the players that lost in round one, that might be the only time they ever get to play on that lakeside stage. It may be the only time they ever qualify, and people watched it on no more than an iPhone quality that was bouncing up and down.
Yes, the record of note for it ever happening was filmed on a potato, wasn't it?
Yeah, but like I say, when S4C took it over, it was brilliant. The production went up tenfold. It was superb. But you have to have that bar has been set, and they now have to have that level of production from Dart 1 to crowning the champion, not halfway through the tournament.
Agreed.
But it will be...
The more that they can do to increase that production, I don't know what the word is. The better, the fairer it will be for the players. And this is the thing is, I mentioned a minute ago. On paper, I think it's a great tournament. I think when you look at the individuals who are invited or qualified to play there, you could have a really great tournament there. But you're also asking people to travel a hell of a long way, whether that be from Asia, from North America, from Australasia, and if they're going to make that commitment and they're going to travel that way, you want the setup and the presentation to justify and warrant that.
100%.
Travel from the USA, travel from Australia, travel from Asia, play on this stage, and you know, it will be presented in a way that is fitting of that title. And all it does is the WDF World Title, World Championship, whatever you want to call it, is lacking in prestige at present. It needs to be valued more by people. People need to think it's more important. And when they see that coverage, it immediately discredits and devalues your product. It immediately devalues that product. It makes it look less important because how can I, as the viewer, be expected to think this is an important thing if I show the kids it, if I put it on YouTube and say, look, kids, this is let me tell you all about the history of this tournament, and this is and this place, and when I put it on, it's devalued, isn't it? Because you look at that and go, what? How can that be? How can this be important?
100%.
They're not even holding it still. How can it be important? This isn't, this is, so it deserves to be made to feel and look more important. I genuinely believe that the skill, talent, equipment, ability, knowledge is out there, is available, is not prohibitively expensive. Most people will give you advice and guidance for free. Most of them will. Some people will give you a bit of time for free as well. Some people will travel all over the country and help you out for free. But you've got to, first of all, you've got to put your hand up and say to people, we'd like to be better at this. Can you help us? Can you advise us? And I genuinely believe there are enough. I talked earlier about decent people and good people and people that want to make darts better and do good things for darts. And I don't think they have the same mentality of the very elite players at the top of the game, which is fair enough. But I think there's loads of them out there. I think there's loads of people out there that would get stuck in and help out. I think there's loads of people looking for experience and opportunities. And like, how many people do we know that, let's be honest, Phil, they drive from Aberdeen to Southampton to do something for free because they want to gain the experience. They want to gain they want to gain the record of them doing it. They want to build their profile. They want to, there's loads of people that like, you've just got to put your hands up and get out there. And I genuinely think it can be so much better.
100%. And like you say, it's about making it feel important, even if it's not where you want it to be or where it used to be. You can still make people believe that is the thing. Eddie Hearn is one of the best used car salesmen the world has ever seen. He'll make a British title fight sound like a world title fight and get people invested in it, even if it's shit.
Oh, mate, I've been arranged for pay-per-views for these things. These people have been doing it to me for years. No, but you're right. Like, if you can assemble, the right team of people, and like I say, willing people who are knowledgeable and can help make that product better. Like, with the right presentation, you can make something look far more professional. And with that, it's not false. Because what comes is it does elevate how important people think that title is. They think it's worth something because what it is worth is it's worth presenting properly. And the moment it isn't presented properly, people perceive it as not being worth it. It's not worth presenting properly. It's not worth taking the time or the effort. People also know as well, it frustrates people. I am crap. Well, probably comparatively not, actually. I think of myself, I'll probably do myself a disservice. Like, I'm not a tech bloke. I'm not a technological, but I still manage to get some form of rig of lights, camera, microphone, things work, things are, produced in somewhere. If I'm feeling clever, I can move my camera around like that. I can zoom in and out. I can, this ain't rocket science. And it is sometimes just the basics that's lacking. Like, it's not really, we're not expecting, I don't think anyone's expecting Sky Sports level production.
Yeah. Well, 100%, Rob. Like you say, you have to test stuff and things like that. And the other criticism is they need to sort their trophies out. Right, the Lakeside trophies used to look bloody lovely. And now it looks like Pac-Man on a wooden board.
Yeah.
And by the way, I said that. I remember because they've been the same ever since Neil Duff won his first one. We went and saw Neil afterwards, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, once you picture the Pac-Man, once you have the Pac-Man image, it's difficult to unsee it, and it just becomes something that's there all the time.
Now you can see it, can't you? It's with a little chunk out the little top. It's that's. I mean, to be honest, Dave is right. No, not Dave. Rob, sorry, wrong. It's good because there's loads of action in the chat room tonight, but it means it's harder to keep up with. Like most darts trophies are absolute pony. There are some amazing ones, but there's a lot of crap out there. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe that needs to. Maybe that needs a bit of thought because again, like, what is the quickest way to make somebody, make it look important, make it look like this is an achievement? Have an eye-catching trophy. What's that?
Yeah,
that looks mint.
Achieve something good for it. Yeah, like if I don't think they're not huge, challenging, bonkers things to have. Trophies aren't, again, prohibitively expensive. You just got to think about what it is, how you want it to be. What do you want to focus on? Do you want size? Do you want something to look classy? What do you want to do? How do you want it to be mounted? It does need to be better. Yeah, it's a bit shit.
That's what when Neil won his, I called it Pac-Man on a plinth.
Yeah, Pac-Man on a plinth.
Yeah, it was funny. But yeah, look, I really hope Edgar makes it, and I think he's got 2 more weekends in his diary to try and make it after runner-up in Croatia. He WhatsApped me about 20 minutes after he lost. I won't repeat the swear words, but he was livid with himself for missing 2 match starts at double 16.
Yeah, that'll hurt.
Yeah,
because he's had it in his hand there, hasn't he? Like, he's got it.
Yeah.
The job, he has done all the hard work. He's got the job pretty much over the line. And then, to not be able to finish that off to a man of his intelligence, that's going to be frustrating, to say the very least.
I tell you, the Challenge Tour was eventful over the weekend. There was some really good stuff, and the Daniel Closer is making that race at the top of the order of merit. Certainly for second, a little bit interesting now. He played some really, really good stuff and has put himself in contention. The first 2 on Friday were obviously won by Derek Coulson and Dave Davies, Welsh double. Then on the Saturday, it was Archie Self, a kid that we know all about.
Yeah.
And Dylan Sleven's run came from absolutely nowhere because he was playing pony. And then Closer finishes the block of 5 at the weekend to set up the final Challenge Tour weekend superbly, I think.
Yeah, it's looking exciting, isn't it? And obviously, we know that the lads at the very top of that are also doing bits on the other rankings as well. You know, Joe Hunt is actively out seeking qualification spots to tournaments he should have no right to be playing in, but he's doing it and he's getting there. It's a really good year for the Challenge Tour this year. The standard is really good. There is a depth of real good scoring consistency. That's the key. And a lot of these players that have had tour cards, they've bounced around a little bit, where a lot of them have struggled for is consistency. I don't think you could look. Certainly, there's a big list there. Coulson, Hunt, I'm looking at like Coates, Archie Self, Jack Tweddle. Like, you couldn't point the the consistency accusation at any of those players. And you do think that, that there are going to be tour cards that come from that. We don't know exactly who yet, because there is still opportunity for people to earn a tour card outright, believe it or not. That is still a thing that can happen. So we're not quite sure if it will be the top 2 or not. But you do think, and you get the impression, that anyone from the top end of that Challenge Tour that picks up a tour card will do a half-decent job with it, don't you? Like, you don't have any worries about Coulson and Hunt getting a tour card, do you? You don't think, oh, shite, in 2 years' time they're going to be bouncing around between tours?
Derek Coulson, no. I've got reservations about Joe Hunt. Not his ability. His ability to manage his preparation properly, I think, is a best way to put it. After some of the after some of the videos that I've seen and so on, that
it's a good way to put it.
Preparation may be an issue. May over prepare slightly if the day goes long and things like that.
Slightly over prepared.
But even when you look below that, Daniel Closer, Tommy Morris is currently in a World Championship spot. Obviously, from the Challenge Tour, 3 World Championship spots. Derek Coulson is top. Joe Hunt has won through other means, so he is greyed out. So that means Daniel Closer and Tommy Morris currently have those alley-pally spots, which is interesting. Henry Coates also from the Challenge Tour, but has a World Championship spot outright at the moment after winning a Pro Tour. So you look at it and you go right down. Scott Waite's played some fabulous stuff at the weekend. We've got Kevin Burness, Dave Davies, Michele Toretta playing well, Ted Everts, Dylan Sleven, James Beaton, and so on. Now, I've heard there are changes coming for the Challenge Tour next year, which I think will be good.
Exciting.
Yeah, look, I haven't been told that by official channels. I've been told by other people that I trust. So I'm not gonna say what they are and whatever. But I believe there are changes coming, which will be for the better, and I think the PDC are listening. That secondary tour needs a bit of love, needs to be structured a little bit different, and so on, which will be good. And so on, and we're now seeing the benefits from that. But it sets up that final week on the challenge tour something brilliantly, and it looks like I've got to stream it because we did the stream yesterday and it seemed to go all right.
Yeah, unfortunately, mate, this is what happens here. So you're a victim of your own success, aren't you?
Yeah,
this is the problem. You do something, it's incredibly successful.
Did you hear how the stream came about yesterday?
I didn't. I've had a busy weekend, as you know.
I made the silly mistake.
You accidentally stream
on the World Series stream. They asked, "Oh, can you stream the Challenge Tour on Sunday?" I was like, "I'll do a poll," and the poll was unanimous. Yes.
Brilliant. Oh, good. I can imagine that. I mean, if I wasn't. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch. If I was, I would have agreed. I would have also said, yes, you should do that, Philip. It'll be great. And I'm sure it was.
Yeah, well, there's only 4 events on the final block, Rob. So it's not a full. And I think it's only going to be 2 days because there's not 5, so it's not too bad. And we'll see how many turn up because numbers were down this block of challenge tours. I don't know what the reason. I should imagine a couple of ones. 1, kids' holiday, so people are away, and 2, the ones that got nothing to play for, may have given it a miss. I don't know, but it was a good weekend, and those players have played themselves into positions where they have it all to play for, which is good. And for people like Derek Coulson and Joe Hunt, it's going to be a balancing act because they're going to be on Pro Tour duty as well. So trying to balance both, prioritize both, making sure you're fit and sharp for it all will be interesting. Which will be good, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Going back to our chat earlier, which is an interesting one. Went the last 2 years, but not got tickets because no Littler and Humphreys. So there are people that are just buying tickets because of who's in it.
Well, then there's a balance there for the PDC because I don't care what they say. There is a number. There is a number that gets both Lukes to that event. Might be a big number, but
I was going to say it's going to be a fucking big number.
Well, as the $1 Million Man said, Phil, everybody's got a price. But then you just have to offset that against how many extra tickets you sell. But if you don't think that the extra tickets are worth the number that you would have to pay, then you don't get them. It is, that's how darts exhibitions work, mate. That's how darts exhibitions works. If you want to pay the big money for the big players, then you've got to sell big, expensive tickets.
Oh, but does that send out the wrong message though? Because then you'll have everyone doing it. Oh, I'm not going unless I get this. Or I'm not going unless I get this. If you do it for 1 or 2, then the floodgates are going to open.
No, you just have to make sure who you're not willing. Well, again, everyone's price is different. The $1 Million Man was right, but everybody's price is different. Luke Littler's price will not be the same as other people's price. It doesn't have to be. There are other people where then the other dart players can price themselves out of it because it's like Dave said, it's supply and demand. I've not seen anyone in the chat room, and I'm sure they will be, but nobody has said, I didn't buy a ticket because Michael Van Gerwen was there. Now, wasn't there. Now, there might be people who didn't go purely because Michael Van Gerwen wasn't there, and maybe there was only a handful. So it might not be worth throwing loads of money at Michael Van Gerwen because what impact is he going to have on ticket sales? So you just have a look at where your money's best spent, don't you?
Yeah.
You might be able to send the Lukes and then some cheaper players. Because it could end up being the 2 Lukes and just 6 lads off the challenge tour. It's in order to try and balance the books.
Oh, you might need a good accountant.
Yeah.
That's a good question from Andrew. We haven't really spoken much about this. What do we think of the 501 Challenge Netflix? Look, I love the fact that Netflix are getting involved in darts, first of all.
Yeah.
I think that's a massive win for the sport. The whole concept, I haven't read into it enough, but the fact that Netflix, look, I get it's with Luke to start with, but the fact that they are getting involved in the sport can only be a good thing.
Yes, that is it. Like I don't care what they're doing. If Netflix decided they wanted to rerun old copies of or old episodes of Bullseye, if they decided that they wanted to do a Desperate Housewives ripoff of Desperate Darts Wives or something like that, as a
oh my god, that has to be broadcast after 10.
Desperate Darts Wives. I think we could be executive producers on that, Phil. We'd be great at that. Let's get in touch with them. Let's make Desperate Darts Wives. So anything that they're doing is going to be good for darts. Now, I genuinely believe, I honestly believe that what this is it's Netflix testing the market and seeing what type of engagement some darts content gets. Like how tuned in are their subscribers to darts? So what percentage of people that are paying them are gonna watch some darts content? And I think this is a tester. I think they're looking at, because it will then inform decisions going forwards. Auditions are being held at the moment. Can I audition? Am I allowed?
Yeah, I think the only rule that they'd obviously do more, but the 2 rules that I've seen so far is you can't have ever had a tour card, and you have to be over 18.
Well, that's me. I'm both of those things. I think I'm going to have a look now. How do I apply? Let's have a look. There's got to be, surely there's just a button. Do you apply? How do you apply? Can I get Gemini to fill it in for me? That'll make me sound better. BeatLukeLittler.com. Oh, that website's fucking awful.
But it's going to be good.
That website is awful. Have you seen it?
No. What is it?
Right. Hang on. BeatLukeLittler.com. I'll stick it in our little back end here. Right. Let me get you a link.
I've got it here.
I'm not into that.
Oh my god, that is the most AI generated piece of shit I've ever seen in my life.
That's really bad, isn't it? That's Netflix, that man. Register. I'm registering right now. Oh no, that's
horrific.
Fucking hell, that's a lot of boxes to fill in. What do they need here? I've got the right to live in the UK. I've never been a PDC tour card holder. 18 or older. Billy's not old enough. You've got to be aged 12 or over on the 13th of October. Why do you think you could beat Luke Littler?
So here's one for you. Do Netflix be crafty? And do you get Mitchell Lawrie to do it? Because could you imagine the eyeballs on that? One leg 501, Littler versus Lawrie.
I wouldn't do it. If I tell you what, if I was Netflix, I'd be getting some absolute £501,000 in it. I'd be getting some absolute shite to play in. That's what I mean. I'm a safe bet. They want me on. Like, I can't get out of a leg in less than 30 darts. Like, I'm fine for them. Like, I'm a good investment. If I was booking that, I'm making sure there's no one that getting close to him. Not for 501 grand.
Yeah, but could you imagine the eyeballs on it? Oof. That'd be mental. PB, we need Rebels versus Titans on the 12th of September. Yes, I will be in the Rebels shirt, and I'm not going to lie, I am going to be an absolute shithouse on that stage.
I tell you what, yeah, they are, because you're going to be. I can see you acting all right, Dick.
I'm going to be an absolute shithouse. Like, this is like no holds barred darts. I will be rattling my darts, clicking my flights, finding a loose floorboard, telling the marker what I'd really think of him.
In fucking fancy dress, I wouldn't have, like be.
I will be the ultimate bad guy.
Good. Phil Bowers is turning heel.
It's 100%. It's 100% heel turn coming.
Good. Quite right.
Yeah, the heel turn will be there. To be fair, once Steve's back up holiday, I've got my Rebel shirt is at home, hung up, pressed and ready. Yes, the World Series qualifier, we will be streaming it on Monday. So that will be good. But yeah, prepare for Bar's ultimate shithousery.
Good. Good. That's what we want.
Yeah. There's no turn. Honestly, I am going to play the ultimate heel in darts at the Lit Darts event.
Yeah, interesting is one word for it. Could be a fucking disaster.
But look, this is what the concept's about. It's about entertainment and being different. Yes, Johnny, Red Dragon Champion of Champions this Saturday. I will be there in Cardiff.
Well, yes, right. You're going, aren't you?
Looking forward to that. It should be good. It's always good. So looking forward to Champ of Champions. Yeah, 100%. It's literally like no rules. So I'm going to be full WWE. I might even cut a promo.
Yes. Yes, we'll have some of that, please.
Cut a full promo.
Yeah, let's have that. That'll be good. We'll enjoy that.
No, not seeing it, Connor. Not seeing. But yeah, so plenty coming up. Obviously, Australia this week. I'm interested to see if it's any better. Have the players acclimatized more? I think it's only a 3-hour flight between Australia and New Zealand, so it's just like it's us going to Spain.
Yeah, that's not too bad, is it? You'd like to think that they'll be sorted by then, but yeah.
We're getting teasers for new darts launches as well. Should be.
Yeah, I've noticed a bit of that lately. We're getting some.
Yeah, teasers for different launches and so on. I know I've got an invite to the Unicorn launch in October already.
Nice.
Which will be cool.
Yeah,
as always. So yeah, it's been good, and like I say, you guys have absolutely rocked it with us as well with the streaming side of it, which is just getting busier and busier. The more we stream, it's good, and the content is definitely changing, which is good. There's too many that just rely on one source of content, which lucky we don't do. Otherwise, it would be very, very quiet.
Yeah, quiet, boring. Won't be fun, would it?
Thursday, we will do another live once the draw is out for Australia as well. That seemed to go down really well. That little hour live that we did reacting to the draw and so on, which was cool.
Yeah, it was good fun, that. What time of day did you do it?
So I went live about 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was busier than it should. I don't know what people are doing because like it was busier than it should have been for an afternoon. And people, I think there's a lot of people working from home these days. I think there's a lot. I have no problem with it, but I think there's a lot of people working from home following the darts. I'm all for it.
So the OD shirts, the lady that's done them for us is back off holiday this week, so I'm going to speak to her. And like I say, it might be a case of we have to do a week of pre-orders and it's just like a week at a time, because there's no, like I say, we've said this before, there's no way of holding stock. So I need to speak to her to work out how we do it.
Yeah, there is a way to do it. We're going to get there. We are going to get there.
Yeah, the fact that we've now seen them, they work. The concept we like with the designs that we've got. So we're closer than we've ever been. It's just a case of how we do this and so on. But yeah, we're not a million miles away. How many subscribers now? Right, official update.
Depends on which platform you're looking at. Like, it's looking good though, you know.
The official update is 49,214, and we've got plenty of streams over the next 10 days, which is good. Hopefully, Dave. Again, we need to. That's one of the bits we need to work out.
Yeah, we're probably going to have to. I don't know, bolt on some sort of Shopify add-on or something to the website. We're still brainstorming it.
Yeah, but it's closer than it's ever been.
It'll happen.
Right,
I'm confident that people will be wearing online dart shirts at Alexandra Palace this year. That's now. Some people say that's a mile off, but you know we have to be realistic with our goals. I think people will be wearing them at Alexandra Palace. They'll definitely be wearing them at the UK Open in my head, because I'll be wearing it with bells on.
Yeah, and the fact that we've got proof of concept, the hoodie design will be the same as the t-shirts as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I say, we are not a million miles away, and the woman that does them is based in Leicester way. So fingers crossed, I'm going to have a sit down with her at the Grand Prix as well.
Perfect.
Should be cool. Mate, yeah, possibly, Michael. We don't know. We'll have a look.
What's that? 50, when we hit 50,000 on you, because we've hit 50,000 on Facebook, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we're very close to 50,000 on YouTube. I'll take you out for. I'll take a subscriber out for a time off. Yeah, brilliant. Feels like
it could be arranged. It could be arranged.
Do you know what? You wouldn't believe it, Chile. We genuinely, when me and Phil were in Blackpool, I'm not going to embarrass them, but we've got some incredibly high profile females who have offered to wear the online dart shirts. We've been pinned, you know, they're promised, aren't they, to some quite high profile.
There is one
female darts personalities
there's a very famous wag that has demanded one.
Yeah,
and there is a Welsh presenter stroke reporter that has demanded one as well.
Put it this way: as soon as we can get them as soon as we can get them made into a shirt that's cut better for the female form, there'll be people wearing those shirts that look far better in them than Phil and I do. There'll be much better advertisements, far better advertisements than we are.
So yeah, look, we'll open up questions. Fire any questions in for the last 5. I'll tell you, I've really enjoyed.
Okay, excellent work. Very good. Very good.
I've really enjoyed tonight's show. So get any questions, fire them in. I'm looking forward. There's some good talking points coming up. The calendar will be released in September normally, so we'll have a look at how the 2027 season's going to look and so on.
Exciting.
Which will be cool.
Yeah, that is exciting. The calendar reveal is always good fun, isn't it? Start to see exactly what next year is going to look like, where we're going, when we're going. 49,215. That's the number.
Yeah.
If you're looking for it. If you're looking for that on.
I've not had a chat.
It wasn't Junior.
The chat with Barry was really good. Not done Eddie yet, but it's on the list. I've had a nice WhatsApp with Eddie's head of media, and I am on the list when Eddie is next in the UK and has time that I'm going to do something with it, which will be cool. I would imagine the World Champ and the Premier League will be ballot, but I would imagine that you will tick which city you want to go in the ballot for.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I would imagine that's how it's gonna work.
Yeah, I would have thought so. It's going to be, again, some of them are going to be hard work. Some of them I wouldn't bother. But yeah, there's going to be some others that you are going to struggle for tickets with now because they sell out so quick. It's becoming a real top ticket.
Oh yeah, it's massive. Is the thing. What is the next best thing that could happen in darts next year? Oh,
the best thing that could happen in darts next year. I mean, the trophies being shared around a little bit would be quite fun.
There's a couple of things that I would like to see. I'd like to see Mitchell Laurie get his tour card at the first opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think that I would like to see some freedom for players. Watch this space.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think I agree.
What's your view? I think the ballot is a good idea. Look, I know people won't like it, but I think it is personally a better way of doing it than just jumping in a queue and a holding room and hoping.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it's so difficult. Anyone that gets a ticket thinks it's a great system. Anyone that doesn't thinks it's garbage. There is just more people that want to buy tickets than there are tickets available. There are always going to be people disappointed. And you can make the case in every different way. You can have a loyalty scheme, but then you're gatekeeping it and you're not bringing new fans in. It's very difficult to come up with anything that resembles fair. James Wade becoming a world champ. Yes, Jonesy. Yeah, James Wade winning a pot. That's what we'd like to see. James Wade lifting a pot up.
Yeah. I don't, Wayne, I honestly don't know because I've not applied in the ballot, so I couldn't tell you. There's always going to be darts at Hildesheim, Mark. That's not going to change. And I understand that it's a bitch for the people from the UK. However, people coming from Germany will say getting to Milton Keynes is a bitch or getting to Leicester's a bitch. It's 6 or 1.
People from Scotland will say that.
But darts
people from where I live think it's a pain in the ass to get to half those places. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Darts is not a UK sport anymore. It's a global sport. I do buy tickets, not for me, but I do buy tickets.
You've bought tickets before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Not for darts.
All Pro Tours in Wigan.
What's your view
on the Pro Tours going to Holland? I don't mind it. No, I think I'd quite like to see. I'd quite like to see a Pro Tour in Belgium, if I'm being honest. And
yeah, I think it's fine. I'm not offended by that at all.
Yeah. Where would they go if Hildesheim was shut? They just find somewhere else.
It's in the car park. Up front.
Oh, that's great. I tell you what, I've absolutely loved tonight's show. Dave Davies, a great guest to have on. So thank you very, very much to him. Remember, this will be available as an audio only in the morning as well. We have got plenty of streams coming up. Stream on Thursday once the draw is out for Australia, reacting to that World Series stream. And then next week is going to be interesting. We will do the World Series qualifier on Monday. However, Tuesday, Pro Tour streams. Luke Littler returns to the Pro Tour.
Yes.
How many other brands are now going to try and stream the Pro Tour because Littler's back? What are we going for?
Oh. Do you know what? I've ruined it. I'm upset now. Yeah, because I hadn't even thought of that. I thought, well, that's what we do, isn't it? We stream Pro Tours. We've been doing that for 6 years.
To be fair, look, our chat room is loyal. We know what they'll be, but all the others will be like, "Oh, Littler's playing."
Yeah, so I mean, like 6 years we've been at that, and then everyone else will try and have a go at it for one day, and then where will they for the rest of them? Eh? Where have they been for the rest? Where have they been for the rest of the year? Peasants.
Exactly. But you guys have been absolutely outstanding. One last time, make sure you drop us a like and subscribe here at Online Darts. But I've been Phil Bars, Dan Simpson. We will see you all next week. I will see you on Thursday. Barry Hearn interview dropping tomorrow.
Yes.
It is a good one. We'll see you all very, very soon.